Welcome, boys and girls. Welcome back from recess. Today we're going to be learning how to multiply fractions using our pictorial model, and we're also going to have these fraction cubes to help us. So let's get started and let's read our word problem together. Jada has 3 feet of rope. She wants to use 2/3 of it for her canoe. How many feet of rope will she use for her canoe? So let's write that down. How many? Before we write anything down, let's make sure what our question is asking us. It's asking us how many feet of rope will she use for her canoe? So what does that mean? Are we going to add? Are we going to multiply? Are we going to subtract? Okay, yeah, it means we're going to multiply. What are we going to multiply? We're going to multiply 3 feet times 2/3. So let's see, and let's write down what we're going to multiply. We're going to write 3 feet times 2/3 equals our product, our unknown product. So let's review some vocabulary words before we get started on our problem. So multiplication, what does this 3 mean right here? This means our number of groups times the number in a group equals our product. So how many groups does Jada have? She has 3 groups. How many does she have in each group? She wants to use 2/3 in each group. Okay? So now, let me show you another way you can represent the 2/3. We're going to draw this, and then I'm going to represent using our fraction cubes. So let me draw how many? My 3 groups. And Miss C is not an artist, so beware of my rectangles. Okay, so Miss C has 3 groups, right? But before we get started with this 3 groups, let me show you that 2/3 equals 1. That 1, 2, 3 pieces make 1 whole. Can you agree with me? 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 equal 1 whole. Okay. Now that we've reviewed that, we can go back to our pictorial model. How many groups do we have? We said we had 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. How many pieces do we have in each whole? We have 2/3. So let's draw our 2/3. Because remember, Jada only wants to use 2/3 of the rope. She doesn't want to use the 3 rope, the 3. She wants to use only 2/3 of a rope. So that's why we're going to shade in 2/3. Because she only wants 2/3. And we got to do it to each group that we have. And how many groups do we have? We have 3 groups. Okay, let's count them. How many pieces do we have? How many shaded pieces do we have? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Does that number go at the top or at the bottom? Is that a numerator or is that a denominator? That's a numerator, the number at the top. And now let's count how many pieces do we have in each whole. How many pieces? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 pieces in 1 whole. And does that number go at the top or at the bottom? Is that our numerator or is that our denominator? That number is our denominator because that's how many pieces we have. So how many did we say we had? We had 3. So now that we know how many, now that we found our product, Miss C is going to show you how to be prepared for 6th grade. So Miss C is going to show you how to simplify this fraction. So by looking at the numbers, what number can we divide by both of this number? What number can we divide our numerator and our denominator? Okay, we can divide by 3. So what's 6 divided by 3? 2. What's 3 divided by 3? It's 1. So 2 over 1 is the same as 2. Because remember, is this the same? 2 over 1 is the same as 2. Yes, remember, when we have a whole number like this, what do we always have underneath that whole number? Remember last week we talked about this. Our whole numbers are magical because they have an invisible 1 underneath. They all have an invisible 1 right there. Do not forget about your invisible 1 when you multiply. So, we have 2 over 1, which is the same as 2. Okay, so now let's review what we learned today. What we learned today was how to multiply fractions using our pictorial model, and we also use our fraction cubes. For next week, we're going to be learning how to divide fractions.